For this class, I'm going to consider it more of a technique for releasing the hips and the spine. If you want to consider it like a restorative reprieve, you can do that as well. But there are a couple things that you need, a couple props. So I'm going to move this blanket as well. So I have my mat. I wanted you to see my mat. It's underneath the blanket, and you want to make sure it's smoothed out, because you'll see that we're going to kind of manipulate a little bit. And really important, the whole premise of getting into this pose is you need a corner wall. So if you can, try and find one, because it really does give you a lot, and the wall helps you actually finesse into the twist. So we're going to do one side and then the other, and it'll be really good to see how different it is to get a spinal twist. I already know for myself, I was really surprised when I tested this. So we're going to start on the left side, or facing you the left side. And it doesn't matter actually, because we're going to switch the sides, but we're going to start to the left. And what you want to do is you're going to measure once you get into the position. So you want to be able to have a corner, and happily my Buddhas do not get in the way. So keep that in mind. So once we do the other side, I'm going to slide the blanket over so that's covered, the mat is covered, and it gives you some support, which is what you're going to want. Okay, so what you're going to do is lay on your back, and you're going to test how far you need to be from the wall. So my left leg is against the wall, and you're going to kind of turn it. So you really want to use the wall. Oh, and I took my hair down because it just gets in the way, and this is all about releasing tightness in the body in different spots. Okay, so my left leg is in the wall. Now, when you pivot over, you might have to adjust, especially if you feel tight. You're going to feel that resistance pulling back, but we're going to oscillate that. Okay, so open your arms, and I'm going to start to pivot on my left hip, and I'm going to move my left foot. You want to make sure you turn the foot so you're not tweaking or twerking, putting any pressure on the knee joint. So you totally want to move the thigh bone. So I'm going to turn it out, press into the wall. The molding is in the way a little bit, but that's how most walls are. Now, start to pivot the right foot and leg over. Now, if you didn't reach the wall, you just have to move a little bit closer to the wall. So pivot onto that left side glute. I'm now pressing into the molding. So ideally you're trying to get the whole foot on the wall, both feet, but when you bring the leg across, it might be too tight to do that. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to bend and push, bend and straighten, and you can even lift the heel to do that. Keep the arms in T-shape so that you can really get that opening. So really feeling it into that right side glute. But I also worked my glutes a little while ago, so maybe that's why I'm also feeling it. So take note of where you're coming from, especially if you were coming from sitting at the desk or driving. Okay, so now you want to keep the arms, so keep turning away from the wall, your head and your neck, so that you're getting into that spinal rotation. And now you're going to pause and straighten, and if your foot is coming off the wall, you do have to adjust. So I'm going to release a moment and then adjust so I can really press into the wall, because the whole point is to really use the wall. And then see if you can straighten both legs. Maybe you won't be able to straighten both legs. Maybe the left leg is straight and the right leg is not. Maybe it's a little bit more bent. And then over time, maybe you get to straighten. So from this position, you're opening up toward the right, you're pushing. Now I do want you to think about energetically drawing that right hip down away from the shoulder, so you get that opening through the spine, lengthening right through here. Okay, and straight legs, and then breathe. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the shoulder, into the lower back. You can also close your eyes. I'm just checking to see how much time we're spending on each side. Okay, so now, if you're feeling still a little too much tension and tightness, being in this position, you can crinkle up the blanket, which is so great, to just give you a little bit more support so you can just release into it. and maybe fall asleep. No, I'm kidding. But maybe you'll just feel a little bit more support. See if you can get that right shoulder on the mat, but can you keep the legs straight? So it's kind of like a yin and yang between restorative and not really, because you are engaging. But the whole benefit is to use the wall as your assistant to really get into that lengthening and that twist into position, in this position. So we'll go for a few more breaths before we come out to do the other side. And you're welcome to close your eyes. And you're also welcome, now that you know what we're doing, you're welcome to stay here for like 4 or 5 minutes per side if you'd like. And the longer you stay, the more you're going to get the benefits. So just take note of that. It really depends on how much time you've got. Okay, now I'm going to stretch out the blanket, and this is going to be important when we do the other side. Slowly bend the knee, take the leg off, and just adjust your shoulders and just pause for a moment. Come back to your breath and just take a moment to see how it feels just after doing that one side. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to fix the blanket, and you do want it smoothed out, but I'm just going to move the blanket over to this side. Okay, smooth it out. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. So scooch toward the wall, place the right foot on the wall and play with the molding. Open your arms, and like I said, you might have to move closer or further away. It really depends on what's going on with the other side. So slowly start to pivot over to the right. Yep, and I'm too close to the wall. And then let's start with the knee a little bit bent, just to get that oscillation. And play with, since we already did one side, already keep turning the head and the neck. And another point to remember is that, actually my foot's coming off. Okay, there, maybe the side's just too tight. Okay, so you're trying to get that left shoulder down, to the one reaching toward the screen in the T shape. And also, if you're trying to get your leg in line with the hip, but maybe you're just tight and it's not there. And that's okay. You're just investigating what is working to really open up the side. Okay, now slowly become still, press the legs and turn your head and neck toward the left hand. You can close your eyes. And again, think about that energy of drawing that left hip away from your shoulder, straight legs. Breathing into the belly, breathing into the lower back, and just notice how the side glute is feeling on this side. And you can take the blanket and you can crinkle it up and give yourself some bliss, to give a little bit of support, maybe take a nap. I'm totally kidding, but you can. Just releasing into this position and just seeing how it feels. Just seeing how we're doing on the timing with each side. Do you have to use more effort, or is this side just naturally your more open side? Do you even need the blanket? And the blanket is just more for support and comfort. It really depends on what you need. And allow that breath to be full in and out of the belly. Notice how it feels in your neck to turn your head and neck on this side. Okay, and now very gently start to bend the knee, release. You can move the blanket, just smooth it out so it's out of your way. And just stretch out the legs and just pause for a moment. And we'll do one breath together. Take a big inhale. Open the mouth and empty it all out. And slowly release, bend your knees, roll to one side, and come on up. You can straighten out the blanket. Okay, so in your journal, I would totally write down how it changed for you from one side to the other. I noticed a difference in myself, and it's good to see, especially where you're coming from. I mention that all the time. What position are you coming from so that you can get the opening and the release? You can do this, as I mentioned, you can do this for 5 minutes per side, and that would be wonderful if you had that time. It's a total of 10 minutes. So go for that and enjoy the journey. Let your body reprieve and release and get that opening. And I will see you soon.